Hi, my name is Jun, and today I'll be talking about the music of Final Fantasy XIV by Masayoshi Soken, how it transitions between each track, and the importance of being able to compose in many different genres of music in today's video game music industry. Final Fantasy XIV is an MMORPG developed by Square Enix, initially released in 2010. Masayoshi Soken joined the team when they rebuilt the game in 2013 with the release of A Realm Reborn, and has stayed on the team with each expansion released since, all the way up to Endwalker released in late 2021. Due to this and the nature of the game being an MMORPG, the number of musical assets in the game just listed in the main soundtracks alone reaches the several hundreds. 104 tracks from the initial game, 183 tracks from the remake A Realm Reborn, 108 tracks from Heavensward, 105 tracks from Stormblood, 88 tracks from Shadowbringers, and currently 62 tracks from Endwalker, since that expansion hasn't been finished yet. Out of all of those tracks, we of course begin with the famous Prelude, the main theme of the entire series. Though each expansion has its own login theme, Soken manages to use Nobuo Uematsu's original composition in each one. Soken also has a trend of mashing up a lot of the important music of each expansion in the trailer and login theme of each expansion, but I can't cover that today, so that's just something that is very interesting that he tends to do. As an MMORPG with several distinct areas, Final Fantasy XIV mainly uses branching as its form of musical transitioning. Branching is when one track plays and then a trigger occurs that changes the track to something else. The main two uses of branching that occur in-game are what I'll call area change branching and combat branching. Area change branching occurs when you go from one area, which we'll call an instance, to another in-game, each with unique music. Due to the nature of teleporting in the game, which allows you to go from any instance to any other instance, area change branching happens using a simple crossfade a few seconds after you arrive to the new area. Here, the trigger is the player moving to a new area or teleporting to one. Similarly, combat branching occurs when you start combat in the overworld. The trigger for branching is the player starting combat, and each area's music transitions into each in-game country's combat theme, or in later expansions, each expansion's main combat theme. Two other distinct versions of branching exist within the game, which occur when you're in a dungeon and when you're in a boss fight with multiple phases. All dungeons have their own individual theme, and rather than the music changing whenever you get into combat, since that's almost constant, music generally changes at each mid-boss and at each boss. Here, the trigger for branching is the players starting the mid-bosses and starting the bosses. Bosses with multiple phases generally have one or several triggers at some point during the fight, which occurs when the boss's health falls under a certain threshold. This happens in multiple parts in the Tsukuyomi boss fight, which is one of my favorite fights in the game.
Your death will be all the sweeter. I shall prevail.
Interactive music in MMOs serve to further the experience of the player as they explore the vast world of the game. The changes in music between track to track make it so that the players feel more in tune with the environment, feel the stakes of combat, and connect with the emotional experiences of their character. That's actually a major reason why Final Fantasy XIV is so successful in my opinion, and why Masayoshi Soken is one of the greatest video game composers due to his vast experience in composing different genres. 1 second, you'll be vibing in a calm city based around knowledge. The next second, you'll be feeling the deep emotion of the emptiness of space beyond the boundaries of hope in an area people can't even go to without crying from the first few notes anymore. And the next second,
still has secrets to tell. Take care, my friend.
Due to this, I think that Soken and his team did a fantastic job at the soundtrack itself. I do think one place the implementation could have been improved a little bit if they had the time and budget for it would be in the transitions between areas. Even though it's an unreasonable task to make a custom transition between any area to any other area because of how free teleportation is, I think that having transitions between one area to another area that are right next to each other and would often be traveled between would have been a nice addition. Final Fantasy XIV is a fantastic example of how MMO music should appeal to the player in terms of the mood and genre, and the implementation of the music only serves to further this.